So you want to start a fire, and you have these tools and this log. One log, no sticks, no branches, no kindling, no tinder, just a log. Hello? Come on in. We used to do that with our dogs. They'd just be sitting around. We'd be like, come on in. They just all start going nuts. Stuff's kind of wet, but that's fine. First thing, grab some of this bark. Whatever just comes off real easy. You might not have any bark, but if you do, you start with that. Then you want to start with probably the thinner end. See, there's a knot there. You want to go about a foot section somewhere where there's no knots. If you find a knot, start there. You want to start with a clean, fresh surface. You don't want it to be too long. You do have one section. You just want one side to be clean. So we cut this. Come on in. So then you'll have this end. What we're going to do is split this into chunks, quarters, and then baton, thinner and thinner and thinner pieces. Then take some of it, make some shavings. That's all you need. So I know that my knife, my blade, this particular blade, it's full tang. It's very strong. It's a good steel, whatever it's made of, and it can withstand this. Otherwise, you need to really be careful not to mess up your blade. I wouldn't recommend doing this on just any blade, but yeah, just, you know, baton through here. It's actually, okay, different plan because it was a little bit thick. So just chop it up a little bit. Oh, let go of me. Ah! There we go. Then, yeah, it just wasn't going through because there was a huge knot at the bottom and it was really thick. There we go. We're going to do that with a bunch of chunks, and I'm going to cut some more logs, chunks like that. I'm going to end up with very small thin pieces. I'm going to cut these down, shave these down, split them up real thin. Then I'm going to end up with some sections of those. I'll cut them a little bit shorter than this, maybe half as much as this with no knots, little sections. Then I'll split them and have some sections that are just a half. So those will take longer to catch on fire and burn. Then I'll have even more sections that have the knotted pieces, and it'll be whole cut pieces of the log without splitting them, so those will take the longest. So you go from smallest, most flammable, quickest consumed fuel up to the slowest consumed, harder to catch. You start with the easiest to catch stuff. Once you have a fire going, you take whatever you have left over, the real thin, easy to catch stuff, put it aside. You don't want to just burn it up. That's not really fuel. You get to the bigger pieces as quickly as you can, as efficiently as you can. And so I'll show you how we get started with that. So this is all that's really the most important. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, but you get some wood that's decently dry. As long as it's not waterlogged, you'll be okay. But you just make some shavings, you know. Ooh, careful. This is a sharp knife, and the thicker pieces you just set off to the side, and you make just tiny curls. I mean, pretty much speaks for itself right there. There's really not much more to that. You can make them as thin as you want. Make a whole bunch. And just going from a log, it doesn't seem like you'd be able to, but very simply, I cut a big section, split it, cut it down into smaller pieces, batoned it, and that's about it. There you go. You start you up a fire in the woods, find a log. All is not lost if you can't find a bunch of nice YouTuber kindling and tinder out in the woods. Oh, look at all these perfect sticks and branches and, you know, nice firewood. It's like, no, I found a cedar branch, and I was lucky to find it, and I'm gonna make do with what I have. And I'm, you know, you're in that situation. It's like, well, make yourself some stuff like that, and obviously start up a fire with that. So, well. Yep, there you go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you just build up the other pieces, put more shavings on top, put your bigger and bigger pieces until you have a nice decent little fire going. And then you put your chunks on there and your log sections on top of that, and by then you have a nice hot roaring fire with coals, a bed of coals going, and yeah, you can make yourself some coffee in the woods. So there you go.